Welcome to Circus Whispers, the podcast by Tent House for Contemporary Circus in Amsterdam. I'm your host, Maaike Muis. In this episode, I sat down with 4 key figures from the circus field in the Netherlands and Flanders to talk about their vision of the future of circus in the Netherlands. I interviewed them in the green room of Theater Bellevue during A Day at the Circus, the annual professional gathering for programmers, artists, producers, and others working in the circus field in the Netherlands and Flanders. So, whether you're an expert in the field on this side of the globe, or you're listening from elsewhere, I hope you'll enjoy this episode and recognize the experiences and challenges we all face in the circus sector. I spoke with Rosa Boon, founder and former director of Tent House for Contemporary Circus that she founded in 2010, and as of March 2026, she's head of Codarts Circus Arts. Bram Dobbelaere, whose circus career spans over 25 years as a juggler, director, outside eye, circus pedagogue and carpenter from Belgium. Verschragen, co-founder and co-director of the festival Circus Bende in Amsterdam, and with Camiel Corneille, Dutch circus maker for over a decade, with also a background in the visual arts. I'm going to start with you, Camiel. If you think back about, let's say, the last 15 years, what was an important moment for you for the circus?
One thing was graduating. That was a big important moment for me to actually arrive into the field, because before this I had this more romanticized image of what is the circus, what is out there. I mean, I've seen Cirque du Soleil shows, I went to some festivals, but very few, because there was not so much. And then I graduated and I fell in a sort of warm bath, feeling that I had some good support. I had some great other companies that helped me become a better artist than I am now, so I could do some work. And that sort of was a big impact on me, that I suddenly realized what is the field, actually. So it was sort of an eye-opening experience more. From going from this very naive position to like a realization, especially also in the Netherlands, to realize, there's not so much.
After graduating,
I mean, we see a lot when we're in school. I mean, I always have this vision of we have to go out and see stuff. That's the only way how I can sort of widen my view. So I go to specific places where there is circus programmed. But then when you come into the field, you realize I'm gonna become one of those people. Hopefully, where am I gonna go? So that's it's a positive/negative eye-opening situation.
But eye-opening for sure. And though, what made you want to create a circus festival in Amsterdam?
There was not really a thought I had back then. It was more that it spontaneously almost happened, I would say. I was back then active in the squad scene on ADM. And when I was hitchhiking in France, I met a circus company, Maaike, and I saw them there 3 times in a row, and I was like, wow, this is it. And later they came to ADM, and we started organizing a festival over there. And then with the eviction of the terrain of the biggest squad back then of the Netherlands, we moved to the city and started Circus Bende.
Wow, so really from falling in love by seeing, by accident, this circus company, and now you're here. Can you tell us a little bit about the festival of Circus Bende?
So we started in 2018 as a small festival. I think there were around 1,000 visitors, but we really started out from the community. And this community only grew within the last couple of 8 years. And now there are 250 volunteers at the festival. There are 60 people working in the month. And then there are around 20,000 visitors in 2 weekends. And I think we really kept our ideals of the first edition. So our main value is hospitality. And hospitality in Dutch is actually a really nice word. It's gastvrijheid, and it really means that you try to involve as actively as many people as possible, and for us from the neighborhoods around our festival.
They're really actively involved. It's not like a circus festival coming as an alien, imposing it on the neighborhood. You really collaborate with the neighborhood around you in all sorts of ways. Thanks. Bram, you have a career that spans over 25 years being in the circus. What are your impressions of the circus field in the Netherlands?
I mean, it feels very similar to Belgium in a way that it's very small, very warm community. It always felt for me like France started with this new wave of circus back in the 80s, and then slowly it got to Belgium, and then slowly a bit later even it came to the Netherlands. So it feels like the Netherlands is going to be where Belgium is now in a couple of years, when I look at funding and stuff like that. But at one moment in time, I think the Netherlands just surprised all of us. At the moment, we were still talking about, hey, we have a French-speaking circus school with Isaac in Brussels. Maybe in Flanders, that's a very Belgian thing. We should have a circus school as well. And while we were maybe discussing the possibility of, you guys just made 2 new ones. Suddenly,
in the span of 2 years.
In the span of 2 years, there was none, and then suddenly there were 2. Suddenly there was Akapa and there was Kodarts, and we all went, huh? What did just happen? And for me, like when we talk about what was an important milestone for circus in Holland, I'm Belgian, so I don't know the ins and outs of it. But for me that was insane. Just suddenly they had 2. That was what it did for circus in Holland was crazy. Such a crazy enterprise of starting 2 circus schools so close to each other even.
Yeah, 1 hour apart. Do you want to add something, Rosa?
Well, what I recently learned, and I didn't know, is that there's only 5 bachelor educations of circus in the world, and we have 2 of them in the Netherlands. And there's many more circus schools, but none of them offer an actual bachelor's degree.
Wow, that's mind-blowing. Who are the other 3?
Good question, huh? Knak, Lido, maybe
Montreal?
Stockholm, and Stockholm. Yeah.
So 2 in France.
Somebody told me 5. Well, we have to look, but it's
We have to
not
fact
many.
check this.
Yeah,
Wow.
but like basic story, we have none and you have 2. That's what I take away. That's what I take away.
Wow. And so, but there was no circus field, like a professional circus field to speak of in the Netherlands, because there weren't any professional schools to educate them. Rosa, still just going back to this, let's say 15 years ago, because let's say 15 years ago, quite a lot of things changed in the Netherlands, namely these 2 schools that emerged in 2006, 2007, then 2010. You had tent. What's a milestone for you over this last 15 years?
Well, to add, I think we missed something because we also all of a sudden had 2 international festivals. Well, before there was no specific festival for circus. So all of a sudden, 2 schools, 2 festivals.
And maybe where were you when this happened?
Well, I was still working at the youth circus, Circus Elleboog, here in Amsterdam. And I had former students that went to the circus schools. And at that time, we started to program circus in various occasions. And I did that. And I couldn't
in
find...
the neighborhoods.
In the neighborhoods, yeah. It was very similar. So we traveled with the circus tent throughout the whole of the city. And went to 4 parts of the city where we put down a tent and organized the whole festival. And then I had to program, and I fell in love with contemporary circus even before that. I think around long time ago. But when I saw Cirque Plume for the first time in the Netherlands, so that's where I fell in love with contemporary circus, and I wanted to program contemporary circus. And then I had to look into Belgium, and I programmed, for example, AIO, and I programmed not AIO, the Shake That, before AIO, right? Yeah. So Shake That, and all these kind of shows, and there was barely any theaters that programmed circus at that time. But there were students almost ready to graduate. And at that time, I worked in Circus Elleboog with my colleague Jade Metin and with Maaike Muis. And then we said, okay, we should actually make sure that there's a kind of a possibility for these young graduates to support them. Because if you come out straight out of school and you have to straight away start to produce your own work, that's quite something to ask. I mean, Bram did it. And you found your way, and it's amazing. But a little help, we thought was actually nice.
And the festivals were already covered.
Yeah, and the festivals were covered. Yeah, and I think we didn't have the ambition to program, but mostly to make sure that we created a kind of an infrastructure also for the students to be able to stay in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Because that was also a thing. Because most of them, they just went away because there was no work here at all.
So in that way, I co-founded one of those festivals. Yeah. So in that way, we worked together since the beginning. Yeah. So in that way, we were really complementary in creating a field where circus artists could stay and could be seen and could be discovered by an audience. And now you're gonna help the students in a different way as head of Codat Circus Arts.
Yeah, I hope so.
Bram is looking quite cross.
You're always welcome.
Not the same. Yes. What are things that you noticed around the circus field in the Netherlands 2026?
I can say it from a perspective of like a maker that is sort of touring in the field. Also as a sort of, I'm a co-programmer now in a new circus festival in Utrecht.
Ah, what's it called?
It's called Cascades. It's based on the old Christmas circus Cascada, what always was there, and we try to blow a new life into it. In a little festival, we have 2 editions already, and there will be a new one coming up this year in April. But what I see, to answer your question, what I see is very happening right now is people are staying.
By people, you mean the graduates from the circus schools?
There is way more traction, I feel, within the theater field, within the theaters, that they know about circus a bit more now. I feel that some theaters are making their venues available for circus, which is a big thing because they're not built to rig people, for example. Or they're not built to have anchor points, or they're not built to house a different capacity of, or a different version of, like, I don't know. We're asking more dimensions than just, a stage and a tribune. So I feel that this is happening more. It's slow going, and it's still a heavy process because we have to build an audience that is not necessarily aware of all the developments that are going on in the field. But I feel that somehow there is some sort of traction, or I would say like a vibe in a more current term going on in the Netherlands.
And you are part of that also as a sort of co-programmer of this festival. Mm-hmm. And as a maker, what are things that you would like to see change?
I mean, I want more money. But that's beside the point. I think as a maker, what I would like to see change is I want to see artistic statements. I mean, it's a big thing to say, but I feel that a lot of our artists that are coming into the field, they're so young, they're so new, but they also should feel the freedom to express what they want to say. And still, because we are sort of developing this scene, we have to be a bit careful. Because we're like, okay, we have to find a sort of safe platform, but we have so much cool things to say. I don't know. I want to be bold.
And what about you, Bram? Because you said like Belgium is sort of walking ahead of the Netherlands in terms of these developments. Do you see bold statements there in artistic circus work?
Yes, I think one of the greatest things about the Flanders or the Belgium circus field is that it's so diverse. We have Rosa Boon, which is Kurt de May doing some mentalist magician shit. And then you have us doing very broad...
us is?
Compagnie Paul and Freddy, Compagnie EO, very broad, silly shows. And then you have, on the other side, you have Alexander van Tornhout, who's really on the edge between contemporary dance and circus. And nobody's making a problem out of it. Like, everybody says, this is circus, yes, it is. And this is also, well, yes, this as well. And this is circus, yes, this as well. So I think not so much. Yeah, from time to time there's an artist coming out with a very bold statement, which is amazing, I think. But there's everything, and that's what I really, really like about the circus field. And I guess for me, it feels like Holland is a bit in the same direction as well, of saying circus can be a lot of things.
Yeah, but
that's really cool.
What was a crucial thing? I'll come to you, Rosa. That like the audience now also accepted that all these different forms, like from juggling to mentalism to sort of contemporary dance, circus, that it's sort of accepted as circus. What did you think played a crucial role in this?
I don't know what the chicken and the egg question. I think there's some key persons. I think Koen Allery, for instance, had a big theater and was one of the first ones to program circus and to program lots of different kinds of circus. There's other festivals like Theater op de Markt in Neerpelt, who historically have been putting in their festival small forms and big tops and funny stuff and very serious stuff. So I think from the beginning, there's also like when we started out, everybody was an amateur in a way, so nobody knew really how to do it.
So the artists and the programmers alike.
Yeah, artists and programmers alike. So we just figure it out along the way. So that meant that nobody had a clear vision of it should be like this. Everybody just, I would say, modderde wat aan, was trying to figure it out, which gave room for a lot of variety in the field.
Rosa, you wanted to say something?
I would like to respond because it's actually funny because I'm referring to this tonight in my opening speech that I actually think that the Netherlands is not there yet in the sense of acknowledging all these different shapes of circus. And I think that has, well, if I would have to explain it for Belgium, I would say the Circus Centrum played a big role there, and also the role of Koen Allery
so again. It's the National Center for Circus it's a Flemish center of... Sorry, it's not the national. The Flemish Center for Circus that was founded also back in 2009, I guess.
And I think that by Koen being there and having this center that really vouched for and advocated for all these shapes that really, and of course a specific pot of money that was really meant specifically for the this decade is really fancy.
So the Netherlands,
we have to compete with all the other art, like in all the subsidy applications, we have to file our subsidies under theater or dance, and all these funds say no, we're very multidisciplinary, but. Yeah.
The circus is really a small part in a huge sea of
huge sea, and you have to fish from the same pot, and the people deciding where the money goes don't have very little knowledge on what circus is and where it's in the development. So it's very hard for them to compare it with other art forms that they're very known with.
Though, if you think about Circus Bende, you work a lot with the communities around the festival. You invite a lot of international companies, but you also give stage to the young talents of the schools, and also, I think, maybe not in the schools. What are developments that you see, like artistically, with the new generation?
What I've been seeing, but that's more practically than artistically, is that the last couple of years, there are so many students applying. So many. It's incredible, and it's way too much for us to cope with. Like, we get between 80 and 100 applications. Well, we only have 8 places for an open call.
Similar for open calls. It's ridiculous.
So we actually...
But that means, like, there are 2 circus schools in the Netherlands. They all have about, let's say, 15
but we are open for international students as well.
All right.
So then you also have those 5 other schools that apply.
And the schools without the bachelor diploma, but still sort of circus schools.
It's only for people who do it professionally. So, but that's something I've seen. And what I found really interesting is that more students seem to be interested in situ performances, to work with the location, to work in public space. This I really like, because we are a festival in public space, and you really need to be able to work with the chaos that it sometimes is out there. And I really like to read that actually in the applications, that a lot of people are specifically interested in performing in a public park for a broad audience. And so this is something that I see that is a trend also.
Camille.
I wanted to react on that, because what you said is also triggering something really cool inside me. But I think finally we have 80 applications, people that are coming here to do it, because I remember when I just came out of school and I apply for something, I'm the only one applying for it, so I'm chosen.
Yeah, which
gives
you a
me
head start.
It gives me a head start, which I had, which I'm super grateful for. But at the same time, it questions myself. Like, I see other people in the field doing amazing things, and I'm like, so I'm now compared to them.
The bar is so high.
The bar is so high, and now I have to do this, and now I have a pool of people that are applying with me, and I'm chosen, and I feel, then I feel way more, I don't know, validation maybe, but also we are a bigger group of people that can change. We can give something to the field that we can, if, for example, all of our shows suddenly talk about identity or about, I don't know, a specific topic, the field will hear that the artists now want to talk about this. And especially the circus artists want to talk about something.
But
and
you also perform in sort of different constellations. You have your solo work, and sometimes you work with a trio, and sometimes you work with
another company. Yeah.
About your solo show, what's something you really want to convey right now? You're also performing at the festival. This is not a circus.
So what I try to do, and this is a really hard process for me, but is I try to, I want to talk about humanity in my work. And I think circus is very fitting to this, because it is so very much outside of humanity in a way, because we do extraordinary things. And I think that's so, it's always nice to talk about a topic if you put it out of context and make it really big. I don't know, talk about love drama and to make this really epic love. It's nice to talk about longing or something. And I think in my work, currently the work that I'm going to show talks about getting older in circus for me, and you don't see this in the show necessarily, but what I like about it, it's very relatable for people. Mm-hmm. And I go do a physical limit that you don't have to go through, but then you can understand this. So this is what I really like doing. So that's what I try to do with my work. And
still it stems from a personal...
It's very much a personal...
urge to tell this, because may I ask your age?
Yes, of course.
As a circus artist?
I'm a little bit older than 30. No, I'm...
This is perfect. We'll stop here.
No, I don't mind to say it. I'm 36.
Yeah.
So, I feel that there is a limit to the physical things that I'm doing. That's it.
Switching to Bram.
Let's talk about old people in circus. I remember.
No, you gave a keynote earlier this morning, and you jokingly said, like Grandpa tells, but you're not that old. But you have a career of 25 years, and you're less on stage than before. Can you tell us a bit about your view on, aging in the circus as a performer?
But as in a way, being a juggler has the most possible longevity, because no injuries, and also instead just maybe the picking up the stuff is a bit harder. But you can still, I can still do the stuff I did 25 years ago.
Wow,
a bit slower maybe, but there's no, so I've seen a lot of acrobat friends still wanting to go on, but just their body saying, no, your ankles are fucked because you did too much teeterboard in the streets.
Yeah.
So your career is over from now.
And they don't switch to juggling.
And they don't switch to juggling because everybody hates juggling, and sneakily all the acrobats do.
Agreed.
But so in a way that was a nice part. But then also I think the people who do continue, like Camille says, question it quite early and find other ways to be on stage. Maybe it's talking more and jumping less, or it's and for me personally, it was also the joy of starting to coach and direct other companies, which for me was so much fun to do. It's like just people inviting you into their rehearsing space and saying, "Hey, come play with us for a bit and tell us what you see." So I guess for me that was a really nice transition also for aging in circus, is going from on stage to more being outside eye.
Yeah. And also creating a whole other skill set. Rosa.
Well, maybe one step back in terms of trends. What I also very much see, but maybe it's a kind of a hope for the future, is that the past 5-6 years you see more and more solo or duo work, and that has to do with that people also make safe choices in terms of if it's solo or duo, it's sellable, it's affordable, and they don't have too much props and too much costumes, and it has to be tourable everywhere, which I understand, but which I find a pity, but also please help me translate this word. It's a kind of an armoede. It's kind of a poverty. Yeah, maybe poverty is not the right word in English. But because I'm longing sometimes for group shows, for also collective work, for work with huge costumes, and I know costumes and circus are not always the best combination, but there's possibilities.
There are
possibilities. But so I really miss sometimes the development of these bigger groups, and it has to do with the time and money, and I know all the reasons, but I do think there's a place for that even in the Dutch field.
Well, then it's interesting to go to Camiel, because with the whole sort of all your graduation class, you started the Penguins, which was a collective of around 11-ish.
We were 12.
Yeah.
We were 12. We were just graduating, and we started a group together because we really liked our group show that we graduated with, and we thought, hey, let's tour this. And we immediately, we bumped into this wall, what Rosa was describing, money, stuff like this. Like, how do we do it? The cool thing is it was already created. So we don't have to, spend so much money on a creation with 12 people.
But still, you had to get 12 people on the road and get them to Lithuania.
This is a logistical problem, I think. But the other side is like, who's going to book an unknown group of 12 performers? We are expensive. Like, we were not expensive as a person per person, but and we also didn't fit. Our rig was 14 meters high. No, sorry. 11 meters high, but we needed 14 meters in space because we threw up a rig and we let it fall on the other side. So it was like this portique that went like this. And you don't see my movement. I'm moving my hand from one left to the right as if a sort of like big bridge is falling. And that needs a stage of 14 meters, which is like a big theater hall or outside.
Yeah.
And to fill a big theater, it's like, 500, 600 spaces. We could not fill this.
Yeah.
So it's
and I think it's also a place of time, because if it would happen now, I think it would be a different time, because the network was not so big and still would not be easy. But I think it would have more space now than at that time.
Totally.
And it's really sad that you didn't even get the chance actually to.
You performed a couple of times.
We performed for 2 years, 3 years. Like, we did some festivals in Belgium also in the French part of Belgium, which I thought was really cool, because they felt a very big difference between Flanders and the French part of Belgium. And we managed to do that. That was really great, but also heavy.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hard work.
Group dynamics, and you're all building your
careers.
Yeah, and
also like this, we were not we didn't choose to be a collective. We were auditioned for a group. That's what we were doing.
And then you were stuck
and then
with
we
each
stuck
other.
With each other, and some people
years.
fled it. That was really great. And I was basically pulling it with 2 other people. So that was quite heavy to keep it together.
But also at that time, there was still not so much work. So it was not possible for everybody to stick around and to earn their just to pay the rent.
I was just thinking to go a little bit back on what we were saying before, because what also I thought about, so what is good things that are happening right now, also with this in mind, also with getting older, I feel that more older people that staying in the field and they're becoming the seniors of the field, it also means that we have a more reference for younger artists to feel like, oh, this is how it's done. This is the people who are here. We can ask for help from them, from those people. We all sort of slowly go into positions with more coaching or more other education backgrounds, which suddenly gives way more out of your own field experience and not from abroad.
But then is the field big enough? Because we're sitting here now at this sort of professionals days and student days with the scene is still relatively small. You know, the people I see here, both the directors, artists, programmers, festival directors, it's a scene that we've seen, Rosa and I, for the last 15 years. We know everybody, it's still a relatively small scene. Is it large enough to carry the sort of influx of new talent?
I think it's large enough. I don't think there's enough means, like, depending on the role they have. Because 80 to 100, you would like to support more than only 8. So that there's a limit there, I would say. But I also think it's about if everybody this each one teach one principle. I think that is also being carried by Circus, and as long as we all keep that in mind, I would say we would be able to carry it.
And also, if I think about the 250 volunteers, they're not circus artists, or not, maybe some of them are, but these are people that are really passionate about circus and that are struck by the circus virus, so to speak. Though, if you think about the future of the circus in the Netherlands, so Circus Band is going to celebrate their 8th birthday this year. What are your hopes for the future of circus here?
Expand our community, but also make it stronger. So this 250 volunteers, we really need them. They're really the base of our organization, and I really hope to involve more people. Indeed, a lot of people don't come from the circus field in our community. I guess it might be 5% actually coming from the circus field, and that's also something I really like. But also, I'm really happy that the last years we had more students from coders and ACAPA who call and say, hey, can we maybe practice as a stage manager or help out with the public coordination? And that's also really wonderful to have more people from the field. Yeah, what do I really hope for the field? I guess more space for experiment. So more space for raw experimentation, and more spaces in the cities, like not only theaters, but I mean like empty buildings, old industry warehouses, all these kind of spaces that we can use for cultural activities, and that the doors to that kind of spaces open up more easy, that we have more fields, and I'm literally talking about grass fields, where we can put, there we go, herring, but no. What is this in English?
It's, oh no, I'm lost for the word. Steaks?
Steaks, pikes.
For the big tops, the traditional big top.
That we can put pikes in the ground. That there is a warmer welcoming by the cities for actually moving art. So art forms that travel around and all these kind of things. That I really hope, because I feel like as a field we are strong enough.
And there's enough solidarity.
Yes, and we work good together. But for me, the problem is the municipality, the rules, the permits. They are not helping us. They're really not on our side. It's really, you feel like before I was organizing a festival that was not legal, like not a legalized
in the
festival.
squad scene, yeah.
We did it within 3 months. And it was amazing. And a lot of artists came from everywhere. And within 3 months we were finished. And now we work a whole year, full on, to do exactly the same thing. And that's because of rules. So what I hope is that we get more freedom in that sense. And
Here.
This brings me to you, Bram, because if I remember correctly, you and Sander and some other guys bought this old hangar, right? Once far, far, far in Zeeland, in the Netherlands.
Yes, it's.
there?
I'm not that involved. But Sander and Jordan, my two friends and colleagues, together with Gap and somebody else, they bought a hangar, and they have
in the Netherlands. No,
they have this like parallel to the official channels. They have this place where you can work for quite cheaply, and they have a festival every year near the end of August. And the festival is like it's completely. They have zero to very little funding, and it's just ticket prices and the bar. I'm in the kitchen, cooking for the artists, because the food is actually a selling point, because they cannot pay the artist that much. So Sander, who's programming, always opens with, so the food is really good.
Bram cooks.
I'm cooking. What I love about that, and to join what you were saying, is, I mean, yes, I think it's important that Circus gets more funding, and especially government funding, especially in the Netherlands. It's just a shame how little money this community gets. But with more funding, generally comes also more rules. And I'm also a big fan of the parallel, undergroundy, squatty version of Circus, because it's like what Koen Allery would say, like the humus, how you say, the ground from which in interesting projects can start, that
grassroots.
maybe later become big players, but it has to start somewhere. So I'm a big fan of these kind of little initiatives that have nothing or very little to do with government funding or structural organizations.
Yeah, so that's really close to the circus spirit, the do-it-yourself mentality.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Rosa, what's something you want to add?
I hope we stay as connected. No, I really do, because I'm really proud of.
Because what's at stake? Why wouldn't we stay connected?
I once spoke to at least some of us here in the room know her, Gwendoline Sabbe, years ago. Programmer in Flanders, dear friend of Maaike, and she writes for the Circus magazine, and she has a lot of knowledge about circus history. Well, I can tell a lot about her, and she's amazing. But she once, I had a conversation with her that stick to me, which was in actually the very beginning of the development of circus in the Netherlands. And there was this talk during Circusstad where I think for the first time the field that was, well, it was not a field yet, but the people that in any way had something to do with circus came together, and it was a little group, and Gwendoline was there, and we had a talk afterwards. And she said, I really hope you guys stay in solidarity, because as soon as the competition starts to kick in, the field will change, and I really feel that we're still able, even due to the growth of the field, and sometimes with some hiccups here and there, but we managed to stay in solidarity with each other and to really support both organizations and artists. And I really hope that we keep doing this, because I think this makes us stronger.
Camiel, to conclude, I know we have listeners on all the continents in the world. If they're listening from abroad, why should they come to the Netherlands to discover the circus field, and where would you send them?
I mean, we have lovely weather. No, I mean, that's a joke, of
Amazing
course.
food.
So I think I'm talking now to the maybe possible future students. I think these two schools that sprung up in the past years have grown immensely, and the students that come out of this are amazing students and are amazing artists. I mean, I'm also one of them, but I mean, it's also that I feel that in the past years, there's so much development, and we are joining the conversation. And I think that's one of the reasons I think you should come to the Netherlands. Beside that, I have the feeling that we are a very open-minded discipline. And in the Netherlands, there's a really big art scene. So as much as art, dance, theater, music, it's very developed, very open. And I feel that circus is leaning very much into this quality as well. So what I always ask my international friends is like, you come over to see shows, but also come over experience this growth of art. And I think that's a very positive vibe. But at the same time, I very much believe this. I mean, we have so much cool festivals now. And we want to go from more than 8 places in specific festivals for circus to much more, maybe pop up wherever. And
not as big as Edinburgh Fringe, maybe, but
but maybe we don't want to be there.
No,
you don't want to be there.
We want to be here, I feel.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to know more about the interviewees, please check the show notes, where I've listed their websites and social media. I'd also like to thank Ruth Verraas from Tent for her editorial feedback, and of course my guests Bram Dobbelaere, Rosa Boon, Verschragen and Camiel Corneille.